What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Yadkin County, a rural area that's really close to Winston-Salem that a lot of people are seeming to like right about now. My name is Ramon Lomelli. I'm a local realtor and the team leader of the Smart Move Group brokered by eXp Realty here in Winston-Salem, as well as all the surrounding areas. Now, I wanted to make this video for you guys today as part of a series. We've been going over areas in the Winston-Salem, what I would consider the Winston-Salem area, that are similar enough and close enough to Winston-Salem, but that some people actually prefer over Winston-Salem. In case that you're thinking about moving to the area and you're wondering what other opportunities are out there near Winston-Salem. Now, we've already done the Clemens area, very popular area, Kernersville, very popular as well. Now we're going to take it down to Yadkin County in this video. Now, Yadkin County is not going to be for all of my out-of-towners. If you're looking for something with some land, some acreage, some rural properties, you're probably going to find it here in Yadkin County. So Yadkin County is located about 20 miles northeast of Winston-Salem, and like I said, it's a rural area. But because it's rural, you can expect home prices to be a little bit lower. You can expect county taxes to be a little bit lower, and you can expect definitely a different type of lifestyle. To give you an idea of the prices in the area, and we're going to break this down further by area, but just as a whole in Yadkin County, the average sold price last year was just about $258,000. That's the average sold price. That's significantly cheaper than the average home price in Winston-Salem, but you also have to realize that the average home in Yadkin County sold with 2.68 of an acre, so way more land, cheaper, and cheaper taxes. I can't remember the last time I sold a home in Winston-Salem that had over 2.5 acres for under like $400,000, so there's a big difference there. Now, there are many reasons why people love the Yadkin County area. One of the big reasons, though, is definitely the natural scenery and the Yadkin River. The Yadkin River is how Yadkin County got its name. Also, Yadkinville, one of the towns inside of Yadkin County, is how it's got its name because of the Yadkin River. It's actually one of the longest rivers in North Carolina. It's well known for great fishing spots, great kayaking, and if you're a southerner, if you're from the area, you're probably going to enjoy tubing down the Yadkin River. It's a local pastime. If you don't know what that is, Google that. I will say, though, one of the things I don't like about the Yadkin River is that they do have alligator snapping turtles. I've seen them in person in the Yadkin River before, and I'm not a fan. I'm going to try to put a picture of an alligator snapping turtle up on the screen so that you know what kind of monsters, some prehistoric beasts that we're talking about here. Here in North Carolina, we have a beautiful area called the Yadkin County Wine Country, and Yadkin County happens to be one of 7 counties inside of that area. There are 44 wineries and vineyards inside of this area, and there's always something to do. And me and my wife love going to them because they often have activities, all kinds of things you can imagine. Festivals, they obviously have wine tastings, wine pairings, they got food truck festivals, all kinds of stuff happen at these beautiful wineries and vineyards. So up first, we're going to talk about the lovely, quaint town of East Bend, North Carolina. Now, East Bend is a town in Yadkin County, and it's actually I believe it's the closest town, the first one you'd run into if you're leaving Forsyth County going towards Yadkin County. Now, East Bend is, like I said, a very, very small town with a very, very small population. It's a definition of like a small rural town. And we find that the best way to find out what's going on in the town of East Bend is to just go to their local Facebook page. There you can see information about events, food truck festivals, regular festivals, all kinds of events going on in their small town square. And they have like a library and a coffee shop and a couple other small businesses in their little downtown area within walking distance of each other. So you can kind of make a day of it if you want to go check out downtown East Bend. Now, it's actually home to Forbush High School, which, fun fact, when I first moved to North Carolina, I lived in Yadkin County and I had to go to Forbush High School for my freshman year, and then I went to Davie County, but that's a whole different story. So Forbush is actually the largest public school inside of Yadkin County, and it happens to be in the town of East Bend. Now, East Bend is not going to be the cheapest part of Yadkin County. It's actually really close to like a really highly sought after area in the Forsyth County region, which is like the Louisville, Pofftown side of Forsyth County. So because it's so close to Forsyth County, those really highly sought after areas, some of those prices kind of bleed into East Bend, but the average price of homes sold in the last year inside of East Bend was about $340,000. Now, part of that has to do with the fact that there is very little on the market, so when something does hit the market, it becomes quite competitive, but also you get over 3.5 acres on average when you buy a home in East Bend. Our favorite thing to do in East Bend, it's actually my wife's favorite vineyard, Divine Llama Vineyard. It's a really fun time when you go there. They got great wines, and it's great to just go over there and relax. You actually get to pet some llamas, but my wife's favorite vineyard, hands down. All right, guys, now we're going to talk about the town of Boonville, North Carolina. Once again, inside of Yadkin County, a little bit bigger than East Bend when it comes to population and size. If you're a fan of history, you'll be happy to know that Boonville was actually named after the famous Daniel Boone in 1895 when it was established. Now, like any small town in the area, there's not going to be a whole lot of things to do. There are a couple local restaurants, a couple things to do in Boonville, but not a ton. Most of the things you want to do are either going to be at least in Yadkinville, if not back towards Winston-Salem. Boonville also has a high school, Starmont High School. It actually accommodates grades 8 through 12, so it's a big part of the community there. And if you don't like the rural setting of Boonville, you're definitely going to like this part, because the average home inside of Boonville sold with an average price of $248,000 in the last year. And in this area, there's not going to be a ton on the market either. There was only 42 transactions that closed in the last 12 months here. But the crazy thing is that of those 42 homes, they sold with an average acreage of 3.82. So almost 4 acres is what you get on average in Boonville. That's enough land to start some chicken farm or cows or horses or something. Mini farms are popular in that area, off the grid living. There's a lot of options. And we're gonna keep talking about Yadkin County, which has a special place in my heart because I lived there for 1 year when I first moved here from California. Before we do though, I just want to remind you that if you have any questions, comments, concerns, I know I sound like a broken record, but feel free to leave me a like, comment where you're watching this video from. But above all, please subscribe. That really helps a lot. It helps keep me motivated to keep pumping out these videos for you. It also helps with the algorithm or something to reach more people. I'd really appreciate it if you do that. I'm going to leave you some awesome links in the about section of this video, including homes for sale in all of these little towns that we're talking about, the relocation guide for Winston-Salem, as well as all my contact info if you want to call me, text me, or just be my friend on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, whatever you want to be my friend on, I'm probably on there. Now we're going to talk about the town of Jonesville. Jonesville is actually the furthest in Yadkin County away from Winston-Salem, so it's definitely going to be a little bit more of a drive. Now, Jonesville is a very special town because it's considered not only the heart of the Yadkin Valley wine region, but also the gateway to the Blue Ridge Mountains, which if you don't know what the Blue Ridge Mountains are, beautiful. Google it. You're going to love it. If you're in the area, you're going to love to go there and visit, especially around this time of year in the fall. If you're a fan of history, you'll be happy to know that Jonesville actually dates back to the 1800s, and it had several major Civil War battles there. The reason why it grew in population over the years was because it was really close to a major railroad. It's got a ton of historic sites, parks, and recreational facilities that makes it a wonder for outdoor enthusiasts. Now, Jonesville is actually right off of Highway 77, a major highway in the area here, so it makes it a popular stop, and because of that, it also has a large kind of booming economy there, and a lot of places to eat, things to do, because it's right off the highway. Out of those towns that we've talked about so far, Jonesville is definitely going to be the biggest, but definitely not the most expensive, thankfully, because the average price in the last year, believe it or not, $207,000. That's pretty cheap for this area. Still get a whopping 1.86 acres on average when you buy a house in Jonesville. So if you're looking for land and you're looking for proximity to highway, some history, or a history buff, Jonesville, that might be one to look at. Now, of course, keep in mind you are going to be about 35 minutes away from Winston-Salem, which would be the next big city, or maybe you go up to Mount Airy, not quite as big as Winston-Salem, but there are a couple options there. And now we're going to talk about the town of Yadkinville, North Carolina, which special place in my heart. Like I said, the first place I ever lived in North Carolina when I moved from California. The town is going to be bigger and the population is going to be bigger as well than the other towns inside of Yadkin County. Moving to Yadkinville, North Carolina as a teenager was definitely a culture shock, to say the least. I know it's hard to tell by looking at me now, but back in the day, I was a little skateboard kid. I was always up and down the sidewalks, you know, doing tricks on my skateboard. And when I moved to Yadkinville, North Carolina, there was no sidewalk. If we ran into traffic in Yadkinville, it was because we were behind a tractor or maybe there was an accident. And very few things were what I would consider walking distance. Everything, you know, you really need a car. There isn't any public transportation, at least not when I lived there. I don't think there's any public transportation now. So you either got to own a car or know someone with a car. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a lovely experience once I got used to the slower pace of life and the people being super friendly. I mean, everyone was just more than accommodating, waving at you. And it's something that when you're coming from a different area, you don't know how people are going to react to you. But thankfully, positive experiences all around. Now, Yadkinville is not a very large area, but it is bigger than the other 3 towns that we talked about here. And it also has a bigger population, so you see a little bit more activity, more businesses, more restaurants, more things to do. Yadkinville is going to be what they consider the big small town because it does have a little bit of things going on in the downtown area. Still not a lot, still very small and quaint. Everyone knows each other, but there's definitely some businesses, some place to go get a beer, nice Italian restaurant, Mexican restaurant, Chinese food. They got all kinds of stuff, grocery stores. So it is like a self-sufficient town. Now, one thing about Yadkinville is they do love their festivals. In fact, they're pretty well known for their Harvest Festival and their Grape Festival. The Grape Festival obviously honoring all the great traditions of winemaking in the Yadkin Valley wine region. Sure, when you watch this video, but if it's before October 21st, or you happen to find yourself in Yadkinville on October 21st of this year, or probably October-ish timeframe of any year, the 19th annual Grape Festival is going to be going on, so make sure you attend that. I'm going to try to make it. I've never been, but you know, wine, Yadkinville, not too far. My wife loves some wine. We might just be going out there. So what about the real estate in Yadkinville? Well, you'll be pleased to know that you were still significantly under the average price point of homes in Winston-Salem. On average in the last year, the average home sold for about $261,000. And on average, the homes that sold inside of Yadkinville sold with 2.16 acres. I think Yadkinville might be right for you. If you're looking to be in a rural area, but you're not like super experienced, you're not sure if it's gonna work out, right? Because you're still gonna be close to Winston, and Yadkinville isn't so small of a town where you don't have a grocery store, you don't have like a gas station nearby, or you know, several different options of restaurants. So it's pretty convenient for that. So kind of like almost like training wheels to get you out into the rural areas, if you will. You're also right off of 421 and 601. So getting in and out of Yadkinville, going to bigger towns or bigger cities is quite easy and relatively very little traffic. So I'm glad you guys stuck around. I wanted to bring up Yadkin County because I do see a lot of the people that are moving to the area starting to consider Yadkin County, especially the ones that are, you know, into the rural properties, want some land, want some acreage. It's a great idea to go to Yadkin County if you are looking for something affordable, but with some land to spread out. Now, if you don't mind being, you know, the 25, 35, maybe even 40 minutes away from Winston, then it's definitely going to be an ideal scenario for you. Don't forget about the links that I left you in the About section so that you can see homes that are currently for sale while you watch this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.